You looked up one day, somewhere after 50, and realized the friends you assumed you'd grow old with are gone. Not in a dramatic way, no falling out, no betrayal. They just quietly thinned out. One unanswered text, one dinner that never got planned until your phone got very quiet, and you find yourself wondering with a little shame how a grown adult ends up this alone. Let me show you how the quiet actually arrives, because it is never one big door slamming. It is 100 small ones. The group chat that used to buzz and now goes days without a word. The birthday that gets a thumbs up instead of a phone call. The friend you'd have called first with good news whose number you now hesitate over. The standing plan that quietly stops standing. None of it announces itself. You just notice eventually that the room has gone quiet around you. And the cruelest trick of this particular loss is that it feels like a verdict, like the silence is telling you something true about how easy you are to forget. So you do the thing that makes it worse. You go quiet too. You stop reaching because reaching feels like begging. You tell yourself you're just busy, that everyone's busy, that this is simply what midlife is. And slowly, without ever deciding to, you become a person who used to have a lot of friends. I want to take that whole story apart tonight. Gently and completely, because almost everything you've concluded about why this happened is wrong. And the truth, once you see it, hands the power back to you. So before we go anywhere else, let me start by telling you what this silence is not. First, I need you to hear this. There is nothing wrong with you. The quiet disappearance of friendship in midlife is one of the most common and least talked about losses there is. It happens to warm people, to likable people, to people who were never short of friends before. It is not a referendum on whether you're worth knowing. I want you to really sit with how ordinary this is, because the shame survives on the belief that you are the only one. You are not. In 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a formal public health advisory on loneliness, a Surgeon General's advisory, the same machinery once aimed at cigarettes. The finding was that about half of American adults report measurable loneliness, and that the health toll of chronic disconnection is comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Read that again, half, comparable to smoking. This is not a personal failing that happened to land on you. It is a condition of the age you live in, and it lands hardest right where you are standing. Midlife is the moment the demands peak and the friendships starve, the careers at their heaviest, the parents getting frail, the children still pulling, the marriage absorbing whatever is left. Something has to give, and the thing that gives is almost always the friendships, because they are the only relationship in your life with no built-in alarm. Your job will fire you. Your body will send symptoms, your kids will call, but a neglected friendship makes no sound at all. It just fades politely without ever once demanding to be saved. So you didn't choose this over your friends. It happened in the cracks while you were doing everything else right. That is not negligence. That is being a person with a full and serious life. Now that you know it isn't you, let me show you what it actually is. The mechanism, the thing nobody explains. Friendship in your 20s and 30s was held together by proximity, school, work, the kids' activities, the same neighborhood. You didn't have to maintain those friendships. The structure maintained them for you. Then the kids grew up, jobs changed, people moved, marriages ended or swallowed everyone's time, and the scaffolding came down. And the friendships that were only ever held up by scaffolding came down with it. This is the part that matters, so let me name it plainly. There is a kind of friendship that is built and a kind that is merely convenient, and for most of your life you couldn't tell them apart because the proximity was doing all the work. You saw each other every day whether you chose to or not, so you never had to ask the frightening question, if nothing forced us together, would we still find each other? After 50, life stops forcing it. The school gates close, the office empties, the kids stop needing chauffeurs. And suddenly, every friendship has to survive on intention alone, on someone actually deciding on a Tuesday that you are worth the effort. The ones that can't survive that test don't end with a fight, they just stop being maintained. And here is the trap almost everyone falls into. You read the silence as rejection when it was really just the absence of structure. Nobody decided to drop you. The Tuesday simply never organized itself the way it used to organize itself automatically for 20 years. So the scaffolding came down, and what was real stayed standing, and what was only ever scaffolding fell quietly into the grass. The grief is real, but it is grief for a system that ended, not a verdict that was passed on you. Hold on to that distinction. We are going to build on it. And here's a gentler truth hiding inside this, one that softens the whole picture if you let it. There's a second reason, and it's gentler than it sounds. As you get older, you get more honest about who you actually want in your life. You stop spending energy on connections that drained you. Some of that silence isn't loss. It's you quietly raising your standards. But the ache is real either way, because even the friendships you outgrew were still company. So I want to give you a quieter way to read your own quiet phone. Some of those silences are subtractions you actually chose, even if you never said it out loud. The friend whose every story was a competition, the one who only appeared when they needed something, the lunch you dreaded for a week beforehand. When those faded, a part of you exhaled. That isn't loneliness, that's discernment. Arriving late but arriving. You spent decades keeping people around out of habit, out of guilt, out of a fear that any friend was better than the silence. And then, somewhere in your 50s, you stopped being willing to pay that price. The trouble is that the good losses and the sad losses sound exactly the same from the outside. The phone is just as quiet either way. So people make a painful mistake. They look at the total silence and conclude they have failed at friendship, when really they have just cleared the field of everything that was never nourishing them. So here is the work. Not to mourn every single name that fell off the list, but to tell the difference, to grieve the ones worth grieving, the real ones lost to distance and time, and to quietly thank the ones you were right to let go, and feel no guilt at all for the relief. An emptier life is not the same as a poorer one. Sometimes it is just an honest one, finally making room. But there is a particular kind of loneliness that the explanations don't reach, and we have to be honest about it. And here's the part that surprises people. You can be surrounded, a partner, children, coworkers, a full calendar, and still feel profoundly unseen. Because being around people is not the same as being known. What you may be missing isn't a crowd. It's the one person who remembers the old version of you and still picks up the phone. This is the ache I most want to name because it is the one people are most ashamed of. How can I be lonely, you think, when my whole life is full of people? But a full calendar is not the same as a witness. The coworkers know the competent you. The children know the parent you. The acquaintances know the pleasant, managing, never a burden you. And not one of them knew you at 22, before the roles hardened around you like a shell. There is a specific grief in realizing that the people who knew you when you were still becoming yourself have drifted out of reach, and that no new person, however kind, can be retrofitted into that empty chair. An old friend is a kind of memory you keep outside your own body. They hold the version of you that you can no longer quite reach alone. The one who was reckless or hopeful or unguarded before life taught you to be careful. When they go, that version of you gets harder to find because there is no longer anyone alive who remembers it. That is what you are actually missing on the quiet evenings. Not noise, not company, a witness. Someone who can look at who you've become and say, I knew you before all this. And you are still in there. This is the loneliness that hides inside a good life. And it does not mean your life is a lie. It means you are missing something real, and missing it is the most reasonable thing in the world. Now, before we talk about what to do, I want to go one layer down, because for a lot of you, the reaching itself is the hard part, and it's worth understanding why. Somewhere a long way back, most of us learned a quiet set of rules about needing people. Don't impose. Don't be the needy one. Wait to be invited. Match the energy you're given, and never ever be the one who wants more than the other person does. For some of us, those rules came from a childhood where reaching out got us ignored or made us feel like too much. For others, it was simply the water we swam in, a whole culture that treats independence as the highest virtue and need as a kind of weakness. And those rules worked, in a way. They kept you safe, they made you low maintenance, easy to be around, the friend who never demanded anything. But notice what that careful, self-protective politeness costs you now. If everyone is waiting to be invited, no one is hosting. If everyone is matching energy, the energy only ever goes down. If reaching first feels like losing, then the people who would have loved to hear from you are sitting in their own quiet houses, deciding the exact same thing about you. And there is a thought underneath all of it, the one that does the real damage. If they wanted to talk to me, they'd call. It sounds like self-respect. It is actually a trap because every lonely person on earth is thinking it at the exact same moment, which means it guarantees that two people who miss each other will sit in identical silence, each taking the other's silence as proof of indifference. It is the most common misunderstanding in adult life, and it is almost always wrong. The silence between two people who miss each other is not emptiness. It is two people each politely waiting for the other to go first. And it can last for years. It can last, if you let it, for the rest of your life. So somebody has to be brave enough to break it. The rest of what I'm going to tell you is simply how. So here is the turn, the thing that changes everything if you'll let it. Adult friendship doesn't happen by accident anymore, and that's not a tragedy. It's just the new rule. The scaffolding won't rebuild itself, but you are allowed to be the one who reaches first. To say, I miss you, can we fix a date? It feels exposing at our age, almost adolescent. It is also the only thing that has ever actually worked. Let me make this reframe as clear as I can because it is the hinge of the whole video. For your whole life, connection arrived as weather. It just happened because of where you were and who was around. Now it has to be built on purpose by a person who decides to build it. That sounds like a loss. It is actually a promotion. Because weather chooses you, but building is something you do, which means for the first time, you are not at the mercy of proximity or luck. You get to choose your people now, deliberately, with everything you've learned about who is worth it. The reaching that feels so exposing, so undignified at our age, that small, brave, slightly embarrassing act of going first is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is the entire skill of friendship after 50. And here is the secret that makes it bearable. The person you reach for is almost never annoyed. They are relieved. You have handed them the very thing they were too afraid to ask you for. Every single time you go first, you give another person permission to stop pretending they didn't miss you too. That is not weakness, and it is not begging. It is leadership of the quietest, kindest kind. Nobody is coming to rebuild the scaffolding. You are the architect now. And it turns out you always had the blueprints. And because the reaching is a skill, it can be practiced. So let me get specific, because put yourself out there is useless advice. Here is what actually works, and none of it is grand. 1. Send the low-stakes text, and send it badly. Not a paragraph, not an apology for the gap. Just, you were in my head today. How are you? The friendship does not need you to explain the silence. It only needs you to break it. The longer you wait to craft the perfect message, the more impossible the message becomes. So lower your standards for the message and raise your odds of having a friend. 2. Make a standing thing so connection stops depending on anyone's willpower. The same walk every Sunday. The first Thursday of the month, the same table. You are rebuilding scaffolding on purpose. Turning friendship back into something that has a structure holding it up so it doesn't live or die on whether two tired people both happen to feel like organizing it on the same day. Recurring beats spontaneous every single time because recurring asks nothing of your motivation. 3. Lower the bar for what counts. A 15-minute coffee counts. A phone call while you fold laundry counts. A voice note sent into the void counts. You do not need a free evening and a clean house and a dinner party. You need contact, small, frequent, unremarkable, the way you actually had it when you were young, and friendship was just a side effect of being near each other. 4. Say the true thing out loud. I've missed this. Let's not leave it so long. Naming the bond out loud is what turns a pleasant afternoon into a friendship that knows it's a friendship. Most people are starving to hear it and far too proud to say it first. So be the one who says it first. It costs you a flicker of dignity and it buys you a person. There's one more piece, and it's the one we resist the most, because reaching out is only half of it. The other half is letting yourself be reached. You can send every brave text in the world and still keep the drawbridge up. Still answer, "How are you?" with, "Oh, fine, busy, you know how it is." Still decline the invitation because today the house is a mess and so are you. So this is the harder practice. When someone reaches for you, let them in before you've tidied yourself up. Say yes to the invitation you'd normally refuse. When a friend asks how you really are, give them one true sentence instead of the armored one. Honestly, it's been a hard month. That single honest sentence does more for a friendship than a year of pleasant fine thanks ever could, because intimacy is not built out of the polished version of you. It is built out of the parts you usually hide. Think about who you actually feel close to, and you'll notice it's never the people who had it all together. It's the ones who let you see them struggle, who answered honestly, who let you help, who didn't perform okayness at you. Closeness is made of exactly the moments we are trained to hide. So the friend who lets themselves be seen, mess and all, is the friend people feel close to. Every time you give someone the unpolished answer, you are not burdening them. You are trusting them. And being trusted is one of the best feelings a human being can be handed. Being known is not something that happens to you. It is something you allow. And you have spent a very long time, perhaps, not allowing it. You are allowed to stop guarding the door now. So let me leave you with the truest thing I know about all of this. The friends who faded are not a measure of your failure. They're a measure of how much life moved. You haven't lost the capacity to be close to people. You've just been waiting politely for someone else to go first. After 50, let it be you. The quiet doesn't have to be permanent. There is someone right now in a house not far from yours, scrolling past your name and thinking they'd love to hear from you, and deciding not to bother you. All that stands between the two of you is the same small fear, held on both ends. So let it be you who lets go of it first. Send the clumsy text, make the standing date, say the true thing out loud. The phone went quiet because life got loud, not because you stopped being someone worth knowing. You were always worth knowing. The only thing that ever changed is that now the reaching is yours to do. So this week, pick one name, not the easiest one and not the hardest, just one real one, and send the message before you've talked yourself out of it. You are not too old, it is not too late, and you are so much braver than the quiet has let you believe. Let it be you, let it be now, and let the door from tonight stay unlocked.